Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my fellow Virgos. Um, I have to say, if you are ready for what I feel like is going to be one heck of a love reading, stay tuned. But I am also feeling abundance. I feel there's going to be some of you who finally take that step into business ownership. I just feel it. I feel like our spirit guides is, they put this information in me first and foremost. Um, so I am looking forward to doing the reading. By the way, this will be for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising. Definitely those intuitively guided. That means your spirit guides nudged you here, and that means there's messages here for you. Um, you could certainly be in love with a Virgo. Good luck. I'm in love with a Virgo, and I am a Virgo. And my Virgo has also a Virgo moon, very deep. Matter of fact, Sam and I, which many of you know or you've heard me talk about, we're going to do a podcast together. And we're just going to talk about our relationship, how we met, this, some of the stories I told you about. So that'll be a future podcast. Yeah. So I'm excited to do that. Him, a little. He's a little nervous. I'm like, all you're doing is talking. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. I literally just got done um doing I did it on me, personal 2026 horoscope, a spiritual horoscope, but also a soul's blueprint. So I went back to like what past lives, um, the past lives that may still be affecting me in this lifetime. And I used me as an example because I'm offering it to you. And I thought the best way is actually to do one. So I just released that. And I think I titled it Your Spiritual Advisor slash me, personal horoscope, something, something. But I literally just released it. So, anyways, Virgo, I am excited to get into the reading. Um, but yeah, what I was going to say though, if you're in love with the Virgo, your guides know that. And same thing, they'll have messages for you. So, best thing you could do is just relax, try to let go, let your intuition open and lead the way. Let's get started. So, we will be using Mother Mary, not using her. I hate when I say that. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up our reading. We're going to use the crystal vision to go deeper. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second. For your main spread, I'm going to use the Universal Tarot. I'm actually going to go ahead and bring the lid down. Um, and today, I'm doing an actual spread. I've done this for quite a few of the signs so far. And I'm just loving it. So I think I'm just staying with it until I just don't love it anymore. This is called the Celtic Cross. I don't think I did it for you last month. I did it for a few signs. This month I did quite a few signs. But we're continuing with us with Virgo. So let's go ahead and open up this reading. Let's move the crystal vision over. Start with Mother Mary. I'm going to give her a shuffle. And by the way, everything is always pre-shuffled. I feel like I brought my lid down too far. There we go. Um, but I do like to shuffle them and cut them. Okay, there they are. With you here. And then Mary has a couple things to say. Beautiful. I love this message. Watched over. I feel like it's so important we remind ourselves of this. Like truly, we have a whole spiritual team that was assigned to us before we even stepped foot on this earth, before we took our first breath, they were already assigned to us, and their goal is to guide us. So they want you to ask for their help. But this is a beautiful message of being watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. And then we have, speaking of loved ones, family. I pray for my family and give this situation over to God for answers, support, and healing. Okay, let's put these to the side. There we go. And let's go ahead and start the spread. And I'm going to tell you as I lay each card down what its position means. I think you guys will love this reading, this style. I know you love it the other way too, but I feel like it's good to change things up here and there. I do want to remind you that we're in a 3 personal year. Not a personal year. What am I talking about? A 3 universal month. Energy of joy, gratitude, optimism, present moment energy. All right, so we have some cards that already came out, and we're going to take them. So number 1 is the present situation. What's going on right now? And whatever it needs to be. Number 2 is what crosses it. So these could be challenges or obstacles that seem to be in your way. Sometimes, though, it's optimistic advice. It's helping you to clear. It can be something that it's always helping, but I don't know. We'll see what comes out, but I just have this feeling it's going to be good. Number 3 is what I call the root, and it's really called the subconscious mind. These are like subconscious factors that's affecting number 1. So the current situation. And then number 4 will be the past. I don't think I have to explain that. Number 5 is our conscious mind. These are the things that we know. These are the things that if we don't know, we're gonna know. Like they will not be hidden from us. And number 6 is the near future. Right there. And it makes sense that it's mirroring the past. Number 7 is you. All about you. Number 8 is the external influences. Number 9 is your hopes and your fears. And we're going to go into much more detail. And then number 10 is the potential final outcome. I say potential because we all have free will, and our guides know that. And they probably say, damn that free will. So this is our spread, and we'll bring in the crystal vision to go deeper if needed, but I have brought them in just about every one session. I also want to let you know I have special beads on, love, clarity, protection. Okay, so let's start with the present situation, present energy. Number 1. Come on. Hello, soulmates. Wow. So right off the bat, soulmates. Are they coming in? I'm not feeling anything negative, and my guides let me feel, what the energy. I was going to say the card, but it's really the energy. This is definitely relating to love. Doesn't have to be romantic love. But it kind of looks that way, does it not? So, soulmate energy. All right, let's see what crosses it. The Six of Swords. Interesting. Interesting. So, the Six of Swords means that, well, okay. So, I don't feel like it's talking about. Well, let me explain what the card means first. Six of Swords means you're moving away from toxic type energy, toxic type people, things and people that just seem to get in your way or have caused you maybe not to live the life that you truly want for yourself. But this is you knowing that, understanding that, and not taking it anymore. So coming over the soulmates, I get a feeling like this has already happened. And who knows, you may just be about to meet a soulmate. If you haven't already. Some of you may have come here with that question. Is this person a soulmate? Now, let's wait until we get further in the reading. But for some of you, the answer is just yes. All right. Well, let's look at the root. So again, the subconscious. Look at this, the world. But it's weird it was reversed. So this is about completion. And as Virgo, we have been in the year of the hermit all year. Our major arcana, something that we should know well. And it is about spiritual clarity. Oftentimes, it does feel like, we were knocked to our knees, and that's what has us starting to seek the light. So, something has come to completion, but the world is really the promise of a brand new day. It is the opening of a new chapter. Because I saw it in reverse, but I am not leaving it in reverse. I feel like for some, there may be some resistance on closing a chapter. That has to be up to you. Well, almost always. Sometimes they just close. But this is a signal that something has come to completion. And keep in mind, which I'm sure you're sick of me saying, but we're moving into a clean slate year one. It's time to if there was ever a time to let go of the past, it's now. It's like allow yourself to feel free in 2026. Start the year off right from the get go. Even if you haven't completed everything, even just the intention of it, I feel like is good enough. So, we know something's come to completion because it has some of you in actual movement. You are leaving those five swords, that toxicity, those who fought against you instead of fighting for you, that type of energy. So let's go ahead and look at the past. Dun, 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 dun. Interesting, the magician. The first thing I feel is like you've always had the power, my dear. You've always had the power within you to manifest the type of life that you truly see for yourself. The infinity sign is above his head. As above, so below. Another way of saying that is you never walk alone, but you also carry so much power. And many times it's much more power than we even realize. And I have a feeling that is what's been going on. I have a feeling many of you, let's just say, if you haven't had a spiritual awakening in 2025, then expect one very soon. But of course, that's coming from your own clearing. When you clear the cobwebs, it is a signal to the universe that you're open for what's new. And if these soulmates is what's new, well, then I'm going to clear. But the magician is the power to do that. Some of you, I often think of the magician as a great mentor. So some of you have had like mentors, like helping you to move forward from a situation. But here's the thing, the Six of Swords tells me you did. However, because the world did show in reverse, not everyone has. But everyone has that same opportunity. I am not saying it's easy. Six of Swords is temporarily difficult energy, but it is mainly difficult if one has a hard time with change, or if someone like, I want to know what the outcome's going to be. And you know what your spirit guides would say? My dear, you haven't even written it yet. You carry the pen and paper. You are co-creating. How can we tell you the final outcome when you yourself, there's so much depends on you, your free will actions, if it doesn't feel right, do I pay attention to that? And I feel like some of that comes with maturity. Okay, but anyways, let's keep going. So let's look at the conscious mind. So this is what you do know, or this is what you will know. Well, there is that Five of Swords. In a way, I feel like this is beautiful. Now, not beautiful because of the energy. I feel like what it's saying is you are conscious of it. Doesn't mean everyone has moved away from it, but I feel like probably 99.9% of you are conscious of anything and anyone who just, again, I get this sense like you're headed on this path. And this path may be different than like what your friends and family are used to with you. And again, it kind of feels like a spiritual awakening. And therefore, I live my life different. And that could shake things up around you. But it doesn't mean you should change. You're evolving. And it's natural that those who just have no interest in evolving kind of fade away. Doesn't always mean they fade out of our life, because if they're family members, maybe we don't want them to fade out of our life, but we certainly don't want them to have like the say so in what we do and what we don't do. Maybe they held that power for a while. But this is you reclaiming your power. Like, this is amazing. And this is the universe supporting that. You know what I also love about the world is I feel like this is when your spirituality is completely intact. Like you are walking hand in hand with your spirituality, hence your spiritual team. And you're using that guidance. And why wouldn't you? Okay, so let's look at your near future. Oh my God, Virgo. I knew this was going to be one hell of a love reading. I just knew it. Ten of Cups. Near future. The world. You know another thing I love about the world, especially seeing the Ten of Cups, is I feel like what happens in the world's energy, not everything, but a lot of things, I feel like are for the rest of my life. Because I feel like I know who I am in this energy. And, I just real quickly, I want to say when I say me, I don't mean like I'm reading for me. I am just you. I am the sign that I'm reading for. I just so happen to also be a Virgo. Um, but I don't want you to mistaken like that it's when I say me, it's all about me and I. It's got nothing to do with me, I promise you. But anyway, wow. It's like you always had the power. always held the power. Sometimes we don't know it until we know it. Definitely backing up that sevens or that six of swords with the five of swords. So, and in your conscious mind, like whatever that may mean for you. And again, when I say toxicity, it doesn't always have to mean horrible people. It just means it's going against the grain. It's going against your soul's wishes, let's say. And I have a feeling for some of you, it is relating to love because we're moving strongly into the love arena. You know, like honestly, I don't see a lot of Virgos um taking a lot of bullshit. However, we are a very loyal sign. And I know that's not everyone, because I know there's some people who aren't Virgos going like, oh, really, Sandy? But at our core, we really are. And it only makes sense that we'd want, need. It feels like it would have to be if I'm going to give myself in love, that this person I give myself to be of the same vibrational energy, be able to love without restrictions. I don't want to deal with anyone's bullshit. I don't know who I'm picking that up from, but I just get the sense like if you're in a like, and I'm talking to them, if you're in a relationship, well, call me when you're out of it. And if I'm still single, we'll see. Like I feel that with you. And I don't always feel that with you. I feel that with you now. And it could be because we are so close to the next chapter. And the next chapter is going to be the next 9 years of your life. Not to scare you, to prepare you. Okay. Um, let's look at you. Well, hello, Ace of Swords. In the Psychic Tarot, they call this triumphant success. This is your voice. This is your truth. And there's no denying it. Anyone who tries to cross it, good luck. This is you knowing you. Doesn't mean you're done learning, evolving. We're always evolving. But there's this sense of being your authentic self with no excuse. Just the way it should be, actually, is what I'm feeling, is what I'm hearing. And by the way, I don't know, maybe someone's doing this, but be careful not to beat yourself up due to other people's actions. Sometimes we think it's us. We're unlovable. We're not good looking enough, or what have you. But sometimes it's them. They don't know how to love. They don't know how to stay committed. The first shiny little thing draws their attention. Well, do I really want that anyway? So sometimes you want to look at the source of who's telling you that you're not worthy. Like, do they have a right? Do they even know what they're talking about? Because I'm getting the sense that they don't. Of course, that's their truth, though. You know what I mean? That's their truth. But they're the ones that have to live in it. All right, let's look at the external influences. The Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is about learning. It's about growing through the knowledge that you've gained. You know, and it is a way to look at life, or let's say another way, a different perspective of looking at life. Our souls really did come down here to learn, to evolve, and that can only happen through experiences. Some good, some not so good. And I have to say, sometimes the hardest lessons teach us the most and give us eventually the greatest blessings. Because once you know what you know and you say no more, look what's waiting. The Two of Cups. Look at your potential future. The Ten of Cups. The Ace of Swords. Your truth. This is everything you've been learning. It's like a spiritual, what's the word I was going to use? Like a spiritual path. And you're just learning and growing. Okay, let's look at your hopes and your fears. Okay, so these are more of your hopes. This is a great energy. You know, number one, the energy of December. This is optimism. This is living in the present moment. And this is saying to your guides, to divine, I know that my ships, my blessings will come in. And I know they'll come in divine timing, which means the right time. When you can enjoy them the most. When maybe you won't say no and you'll say yes. Three of Wands, like, I'm ready, but I'm still in the present moment. Optimism. It's contagious. And then the final outcome, potential. Interesting. Nine of Wands. It almost makes sense that we would end on a 9. Even though we are not done with the reading, we are going to bring in the crystal, the crystal vision. But this, my friends, is like final reflection. When you see a 9, it is final reflection. This is beautiful reflection now. You know, first of all, if you see this person, they're busting out of their clothes. It's their spiritual muscles. It's everything they've learned and gained along the way. And everyone behind them, behind you, is an adventure, is an experience, is something you've overcome. And in this energy, this is where you're saying, look at me now. Look at how much I have grown. Doesn't mean everything is perfect. Doesn't mean that I'm even perfect. None of us are. But this is being proud of who you are. I feel like for some of you, you needed to get rid of that noise. That, like, you're worthless. You needed to get rid of it. You need to put that belief back on you. You know, this feels really, really good, I have to tell you. Kind of taking my voice away. So interesting, you have the Ace of Swords, which really is your truth. 100%. It's the real truth. And it's mirroring the Nine of Wands, where you are knowing yourself more than ever. And maybe that's what's putting you in this optimistic mood. You know, what time period has happened between the Five of Swords, where all that toxicity lies, and you moving away from that? It could be months, it could have been years. But I can tell you one thing, it's saying it's come to completion. And granted, doesn't mean everything has come to completion. But this part, The part that holds you down, holds you back, that part, you have more power over it than you think. And I feel like that is why the magician is in that position. Even that one, right? We're moving into a year one. It's almost like a mentor getting you ready. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Oh my gosh. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles means something is coming into your physical world. You know, I always say, because I am a Virgo, when I'm doing other people's readings, like as a Virgo, I'd rather see the Ace of Pentacles than a lot of things. Like I'd rather see the Ten of Cups or the Ten of Pentacles. But that's just the earth in me. But anyways, the Ace of Pentacles. You know, who delivers this ace? The Knight of Pentacles, who I call your guardian angel. And the Knight of Pentacles tells you to come at the right time. Not before, not after. It's a time when your guides know that you'll take this ace, you'll nurture this ace, and it will only grow and blossom and create new seeds. I never think the Ace of Pentacles is a one-time thing. I feel like it can keep going if I keep going. Look at that, the Ten of Swords. Oh my gosh, so it is like your way out. Look at that. Ten of Swords with the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords. Some of you have been in a repeat pattern. It could have been a karmic pattern. And you know, if it was a karmic pattern and you ended it, wow, my friend, you ended it for eternity. And for every family member who comes after you. This is something you want to be proud of. Not this, because this is really submission. Like, I've been taking dagger after dagger after dagger in my back. And sometimes we just become so comfortable in the uncomfortableness that we're unwilling to make a change. But here you are, making that change, and look what comes in. Support. Support of some fashion. Like this. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision. I told you I'd end up bringing them in. And you know why I'm bringing them? Like, I could just let the reading be, and I know many do. I could just let it be. But the Virgo in me can't. Not that I can't. I want to go deeper. And my guides know that. Matter of fact, that's probably why I'm doing what I'm doing, because they know I love the details. Like, okay, so I'm going to slide the 6 over for a second. And we're going to look at the soulmates, but also keep the 6 of Swords in mind. The 8 of Wands. Some of you are thinking differently now. This is what I think about, I bring about. Wow. Some of you are thinking about a soulmate. And it doesn't have to be a certain person. Maybe you're just thinking of a higher vibrational love. And really, that's the intention. Like in the 3 of Wands, they are putting intentions out there. And I feel like when it relates to love, that's probably one of the best affirmations. Like, I want someone who is spiritually aligned with me. Someone who has similar morals, similar goals as I have. And then kind of let the rest go. Of course, it is up to you. So what I think about, I bring about, but not only that, This is fast moving energy. Some of you, I feel like you're going to be freaked out. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen quick. And, if you look at this image, it feels a little chaotic. And it talks about the day may be chaotic. But that's because it's moving so quickly. It's almost like love at first sight. But we'll see. I feel like I'm jumping the gun. It is an 8, though. So, definitely about a new beginning. Tying right back in with the infinity, which is an 8 above the magician's head. But, hello, soulmate. And then what else do we have? Oh my gosh, look at that. 2 8s. This is why we saw the world in reverse, and then I turned it around. Some are ready, some are not. 8 of Swords is a self-created prison. You're not putting intentions out there. This is more like being stuck in that 10 of Swords. This is where I am not trusting my intuition. And, I'm being careful because some people feel like I'm judging. And my God, I never do that. How could I judge anyone? I've been there. I've done that. Good, the bad, the ugly. I've learned from it. But I've been there. So this is a self-created prison. And the only one who can uncreate it is you. But the good news is the magician is there in your past. So that's you. So I'm either going to put those intentions out there or I'm not. I'm either going to change my situation or I'm going to let it remain the same. I feel like I'm reading for two different people, like two styles, two different styles. I don't know how to say it. But I want you to see that both of them are 8s. So I feel like it's two sides of a mind. Will I or won't I? Wow. You know, like everything is showing us these swords, right? And these swords, they're not caused by you. That's the thing. But you're definitely taking the brunt of the pain of the swords. So, and what I mean by that, it's other people putting daggers in your back. But yet some have become submissive to that. And please understand, the only reason I'm saying that is because sometimes we can't see our own patterns. And to me, the 10 of Swords, it represents a pattern. Where maybe I've given someone multiple choices or multiple chances, or I've just stayed in a situation so long that the thought of starting something new is overwhelming. And I get that. I understand that. But I still feel like, you know, like nobody can make you in this energy, not even your spirit guides. That's the thing. You're the only one who can uncreate it. And just ask yourself, because I have a feeling you do know, what's become toxic to you. By the way, it can also be your own thoughts. But again, I feel like someone else put them there. So you want to look at the source. Because I have a feeling the source just didn't know what they were talking about. Okay. Well, there's both sides of the coin. But it's good news. I guess for those who are ready. Let's just put it that way. All right. Um, I don't really need to look at the root, the world. But then the wheel comes out. Hello, destiny. And that makes sense when you have soulmates. It's not just love, it's soulmate love. And it does have the opportunity to turn into the Ten of Cups, house of love, the house of harmony, laughter, joy. Doesn't mean there's zero issues in this house. They work them out together. This is when you don't feel alone. This is destined. This is why the person in the Three of Wands is like, I trust divine timing. They probably feel it. This means the wheel is moving. And you know what else? It means that you're headed towards a destined time. So that tells me that these soulmates, the seed, and maybe that's why this seed is on the bottom of the deck, probably was pre-planted. And what I mean by that is, as souls, we do have the opportunity before we come into this lifetime to ask for certain things. Like, we can't know everything, and we are born with amnesia. But I could see, like in my mind's eye, all of a sudden, I see you and a soulmate, like in the heavenly realms, talking about let's get together in this lifetime. And the excitement of it is, will we find each other? You're not saying, let's make sure there's no issues in this lifetime. That's not why your soul is here. Maybe your very last incarnation, it's all about fun. But the truth is, I feel like sometimes your last incarnation may be the roughest. But it may be because there's those final lessons that your soul really wanted to learn. Because many of you, when you leave this earthly realm, you will be spiritual teachers. I already know that. Like, you will be teaching younger souls, souls who have not incarnated. What's it like? What's earth like? Should I be afraid? Tell me everything. Well, have a seat, my dear. Have a seat. Except I feel like there's 1,000 little souls around you, and you're right in the middle with this beautiful light. And I thank your guys for putting that image in my head because it was beautiful. Okay. So, I don't know. The wheel came out, and I really wasn't looking at anything. The last thing I spoke about was the world. So I'm just going to assume that that is where the wheel goes. Again, your destiny. We'll leave that out for a second. Look at that, which is almost exactly like the wheel. This is your tree of life. I literally just said that I felt like some of these seeds have been pre-planted. And by the way, it's not just love that you can pre-plant. There may have been an experience somewhere in this lifetime that your soul also, or let's say there was karma of a past life. Well, this lifetime, I'm going to come in and I'm going to clear that karma. So, the first message, which with the Seven of Pentacles, is patience. But that sow a seed, or the seeds, can come to fruition. In other words, another way of saying that is like an apple tree. The apple is now ripe and ready for the picking. like your tree life. This feels like it's just what was meant to be, but meant to be at a certain time. Okay? Keeping that out for a second. I want to go up to the Five of Swords. I don't even know why, but let's do it. Look how everything came out in reverse. We have the Eight of Pentacles and the Hangman. That's exactly what I felt. The Hangman in reverse means someone is having a spiritual awakening. And a spiritual awakening begins with your truth. Because if you can't be truthful with yourself, then you're not having a spiritual awakening. Now, I guess that's just, it's not even my opinion. It's what my guides put within me. Because I know some may disagree, and that's fine. Like, that's fine. You can disagree with me. I can take it. But what also I want to say with the spiritual awakening is it's a process. And as you go through it, one of the very first things you do is you really do start to notice what's getting in your way. Who is hurting you just because they can? All those things. In a spiritual awakening, you're clear about it. And it's interesting because next to it is the reversal of the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like we keep seeing both sides of the coin. Eight of Pentacles, I feel like what it's saying is someone was not willing to put in the work that it took to keep something in a balanced state. I simply feel that's it. Someone or people were unwilling to do what it takes to keep things in a stable state. And some of you, I can't help but say this. I feel like, well, let's just say in your timing, I hope that whatever needs to be revealed to you is revealed. But I do feel like I'm seeing both sides of the coin. Those having a spiritual awakening, I feel like should go on that side. And, the Eight of Pentacles to me, I don't feel like it's you that wasn't willing. I feel like it was others. But look at you. Look at you. Having this spiritual awakening with the soulmates that is so close to the Ten of Cups and the Wheel and your truth. So with all that in mind, let's look at the Ten of Cups, your near future. And let's see what advice it gives us. I have to say the cards are coming out very quickly. The Three of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. I love this, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I don't feel like it was easy to get to a place where you feel 100% comfortable in your authentic skin. And that is really what the Three of Pentacles talks about. Your individuality. You were made exactly as God wanted to make you. Your spiritual team thinks you're the most beautiful thing they've ever seen. So does someone else. Now let's move into the Nine of Cups. Well, my friends, that's inner harmony. And I feel like that's what you've been lacking. That's what someone else was taking away from you. But it's also about fulfillment of wishes. And we're looking at the Ten of Cups. So the Three of Pentacles, when it's in love, is one of my favorite cards. because it really speaks about the freedom to be who you truly are. Like no mask, no facades, and no one would ask you to either. That's the thing. That means whoever you're falling in love with and who's ever falling in love with you, they're loving you for who you are, even the broken pieces, and you to them. And you want to talk about now having balance? Like this, like if I fall in love in this way, this is perfect. This is, amore, right? This is when I'm feeling good. Doesn't have to mean that my life is perfect, that the world outside is perfect, but I'm centering within myself. I feel good within myself. And I feel like your spirit guides are like, and this is the perfect time to introduce what's next because 9 is also singular. Some of you have become single. And maybe whoever else is in the soulmates with you, they could have been on a similar path. 3 of Pentacles, being your authentic self, and no apologies for it, but none will be needed. By the way, she's like playing with that pentacle. Hello, pentacle. Oh, we already looked. 10 of Swords is under that. I want to look again. So, how did you find this inner harmony? You were real with yourself. You knew exactly, or you know exactly, just what's not working, who's not working in your life anymore. You have certain goals that you want to accomplish. You know, some of you who are in this spiritual awakening, there could be people around you that it makes no sense to. And we've got to be okay with that, right? We can't save everyone, but maybe we weren't meant to, right? Maybe their guides will work on them. Wow. It feels like you have taken the year of the hermit and you've used it for exactly what it's meant for: clarity, spiritual purpose, guidance, and the clearing away of the cobwebs and what's no longer serving us, what is getting in between us and our dreams, us and the way that we see our lives. You know, I don't know in the 9 of Cups if you expect this soulmate because we haven't even gotten to the 3 of Wands yet. So it may be something that just, let's put it this way. The Ace of Pentacles tells me that is coming into your physical world, probably more than one thing. And I just get this sense that you'll just be at the right place at the right time. However it happens, I don't feel like you have to control that. I feel like as you're working on yourself, it's just natural. Like let's say that you are in this spiritual awakening. I can guarantee you that what vibrates in will be of a much higher vibration. But that also means that we need to clear the cobwebs. We can't wait for other people to have their spiritual awakening because some just have no interest in it or don't even know what it means. And I just don't I don't feel like you're their teacher. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like you were meant to like teach this person like what spirituality is about because I don't feel like they would hear it. I just don't feel like they would hear it. But I kind of don't want to keep going back though. Because I feel like as we move forward, it's just becoming clearer and clearer. You're on a destined path, no doubt. What's happening next, which is the soulmates, meant to happen. And it is its divine timing. And it makes sense with the hangman in the awakened state and the five of swords, the knowing of the toxicity, but you moving away from it. That's what crosses the soulmates. In other words, that's what brings in the soulmates. Why? Because you're free and clear. Nine of Cups, free and clear, inner harmony, feeling pretty good. Don't have to deal with the bullshit anymore. And that's just the way it is. All right, let's pick some of this up, though. I don't want the table to get too crowded. Please don't forget this. This is important. The awakened hangman. All right. Slide these over a little bit more. Just want to make sure you can see them. And let's start with you. And the Ace of Swords. Wow. Okay, it's a lot, but they're all face up, so we're going to take them. We have the Unknown card. So this is the High Priestess. And sometimes I feel like we're not meant to know everything. And sometimes we can't know because we're creating it as we go. And sometimes I feel this as like maybe I'm not paying attention to my intuition. Like the ball is clouded, can't see. But maybe you're not meant to see further than that. We'll see what else comes out. Oh my God. Tell me you're not falling in love. Or if you're in love, tell me it's not expanding. Now, if you're in toxic love, I don't feel like this ace goes with that. I'm sorry. You may feel that, and that's fine, but I don't. I just don't. Unconditional love makes sense for soulmate, right? It's not our first lifetime together. And how beautiful it is coming over the Ace of Swords. Your truth, your true love. Two of Pentacles. Well, that should put some people's minds at ease because that means that the ball is put in your court. You're going to ultimately make that decision. And although this is called the Juggler's card, I think it's about using one's logical mind, not a fear-based mind. I feel like as we clear the past, that fear goes. Now, there could certainly be butterflies, and understand that's a different type of fear. Don't run because you got butterflies. That's actually a good thing. And even the Three of Wands, living in the present moment. Wow, as love starts to develop, you don't need to rush it. Why? Like your spirit guides would say, baby, enjoy the journey. It's all about the journey. You'll get to the outcome. Anyway, ball's in your court. And then we have justice. Interesting. First of all, card of Libra. But it is about karmic balance. So for some of you, you have been through a karmic situation, and this was the opportunity to pay that karma off. And I feel like the sword represents putting a close to that, like saying to the universe, this karma is now paid off. I tear up that karmic contract. Done. Paid off. Some of you, it could signify, listen, Maybe for those who are still afraid to move out of the past, let's say, maybe it doesn't stop this love from coming in. Maybe it comes in anyway. And maybe that's what you needed. You know, soulmates are great healers. We certainly help heal each other. Hmm. Justice is about making you whole again. But I do feel like, the sword, without using the sword, I don't feel balanced. So the sword is needed and the sword is available. And that creates balance. Not only balance, but it makes you feel whole again. Look at that. Love, love, love. Right over you. And right over the ace of sword in the position of you. Okay. No wonder I'm loving this spread so much. All right, let's keep going. Look how fast everything's coming out also. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. And this is the external. That could be someone. Interesting. I got my deck in the upright. The Queen of Wands now in reverse. Page of Swords in reverse. Not the world. When I think of a page, I think of quite a few different things. First of all, I want to know what they're learning. And in the Page of Swords, truth, right? Like real truth, justice, what's fair and just in the world. They're learning about their own voice and the ability how to use that voice. That is you. And the Queen of Wands in reverse. Normally, the queen that moves according to her passions. If I feel desire for something, I move forward. She's in reverse. And again, it's like the two sides of a coin. Okay, I actually want to ask, why are both of them in reverse? The Hermit. And look at this, the Empress. I feel like what this is saying, for some, maybe you haven't finished reflecting, using the Hermit's energy for what the Hermit's energy is meant for. And it really is about your spiritual growth. But to use on this earthly plane, don't forget that. Spiritual, to use on earth. And then the Empress. Wow. The nurturer. This is someone who, through life, has learned that it pays off to listen to her intuition, that her intuition is right. This is someone who is very powerful because of her experiences. But that doesn't make her hard. Quite the opposite. She's loving, she's nurturing, she's very creative. This is someone who could take an idea, an epiphany, and create a business from it. And it is you. So it is you becoming what you already are. But let's say the Empress energy within you is coming out. So I feel like what this is saying, if there's anything that was hard this year that may have hurt you, there's still an opportunity to look at that through a different lens. Like, what has it taught me? What am I not doing in my life that I've always wanted to do? What I love about this Empress is there's an apple about to hit her in the head, and I feel like that's an epiphany. If nothing else, it's her spirit guides getting her attention. She is someone who would love, and she's not fearful of love. Now, she is human, so she will get those butterflies and all that. Matter of fact, there's butterflies all around her. But I feel like simply what it's saying is to really, like, this is the last month of the Hermit. And then we will be talking about the Magician. The poor Hermit is going to go, it's not going to have the limelight like it's had. But, anyways, if nothing else, it's literally saying, Virgo, you are the Empress. Virgo, you are the Empress. Know that about yourself. And I feel like it is what you've been learning. That's it. Like, I don't feel like I need to read more into that. Okay. And I'm not going to. All right. Let's go to the Three of Wands. Even though I kind of know what's making you in this or putting you in this optimistic mood. Hello, Ace of Swords again. So you have the Ace of Swords under you. And now we have the Ace of Swords again. Do I feel like these two aces are connecting back to the soulmates? I do. Look at the roses climbing up this sword. It's like a vine. Red roses. Love. Pure love. But listen, truth, honesty, great communication. And that is something a Virgo needs. Like, we love to get lost in deep conversations, especially as we're falling in love. With the Three of Wands connecting this, it's almost like just allow, like if this is talking about conversations that are going to be had, like just let yourself get lost. Just get lost in it. Enjoy it. Your truth. And oh my God. And look what popped out. Didn't even ask. It just wanted to come out. The soulmates. So, if I was questioning, are these two swords equaling up to this soulmate? The answer is yes. Wow. And I have a feeling, even though the Nine of Wands is the potential outcome, I have a feeling it's really what began everything. It is true reflection, but it's the type of reflection where you literally are saying to yourself, look how much I have grown. I wouldn't be the person I am today without some of these experiences. And I'm not saying that you want to repeat anything hard, but that's the thing. Like another thing I want to say about the Empress, because I feel like it's you. It's the ability to read energy. So it'll be very clear if someone carries, let's say, negative energy and enters into your world. I don't feel like you take it. I feel like you'd find a way to like disconnect immediately. You know what I mean? Like you can trust within yourself. It's interesting because when I do your reading, I think, well, Virgo doesn't always like to talk about love. I know that. But what am I going to do? Right? What am I going to do? All right, we're going to do one more, even though I really don't feel like we need it. But let's just see. The Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands over the Nine of Wands. Okay, so that tells you that what you're reflecting over or what you have been reflecting upon also includes drama. This to me is like egotistical type energy. And what you have to be careful of is not getting pulled into it. Remember, it's a five, so it also wants change. I feel like sometimes we have to be okay with not getting the apology that we think that we need. You know, when you move into this energy, the past, you're not going to think about it again. But I get it. Until then, you do. But this does represent trauma and learning not to get pulled into it, not needing, someone to say, you were right, I was wrong. If you already know you're right, like I say that to Sam all the time, I don't need you to tell me I'm right. I already know I'm right. Now, I know that sounds a little egotistical, but I don't mean it that way. I mean like a spiritual way. Like, I know that I'm right. I don't need someone to like tell me I'm right. I know sometimes it's nice to hear, but what I feel spiritually is you don't need it because, again, it feels like the source. The source. Here, in this love, I feel like they would tell you you were right immediately. Ego, no ego. And that is also a part of a spiritual awakening. Doesn't mean you don't need your shadow self. Your shadow self is your like, beware. It's meant to warn you and just pay attention to it. This was one hell of a reading, Virgo. And I knew it was going to be good. I did not know it was going to be this good. And when I say this good, I mean the synchronicities. Like, I see the synchronicities. I hope you do too. This is like a completely different life. But everything that the Hermit asked for this year, I feel like, again, 99.9% did it. Done. On to new pastures. I don't know that soulmates there, but if they are, for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. I say that with so much confidence. I really do. And I'm going to let that be. Why mess with it? Why mess with it? I love you guys. It's so funny because at this time in the reading, I start to think about what am I going to title this? And I hate to give every title a love title, but a lot of people are looking for love, but not just any love. And that's exactly what your guides know. So I'll figure it out. But some of you, it just feels like you're living a brand new, beautiful life. Let's not leave that out. Clarity, inner harmony, knowing you're being watched over. That's exactly what it said. Like, know that you're being watched over so that you can enjoy your life. Go enjoy it. All right, I'm going to let that be. I love you so much. I thank you. I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you. I really do. Um, I can't wait to read your comments. And I know we're going to have a mixture. And I kind of love that because sometimes I feel like those who have, like, let's say, are having a spiritual awakening or have had a spiritual awakening, you're a healer now. So in the comment section, many times, like I feel the comments can help heal others. You know, like if they hear enough people have done it and has worked out, they may start to think, okay, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't be so fearful. Or even if I'm fearful, maybe I should move through it anyway. But anyway, I love you. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. I can't wait to do January's reading. I can't wait to see where the magician takes us and where we take the magician. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.